Imagine waking up tomorrow, checking your old coin jar, and realizing you're sitting on nearly $1 million without even knowing it. Sounds impossible, right? But it's not, because one very specific nickel from 1961, a Jefferson nickel with the elusive Denver mint mark, just shook the numismatic world with a jaw-dropping market value of $948,000. Yes, you heard that right, a 5-cent coin, almost $1 million. This isn't just about coins, this is about the life you could be living if you knew the truth hiding inside your pocket change. So don't blink, because what you're about to hear might be the turning point you never expected. The year was 1961. America was charging into a new decade. Kennedy was in the White House. The Cold War was heating up, and tucked inside everyday commerce, a coin was quietly minted, the Jefferson nickel bearing the letter D under the year. Minted in Denver, it was just another coin in circulation. Or so we thought. Millions were made, but only a select few were struck with a precision, a flaw, or a brilliance that would make collectors fight tooth and nail over them decades later. Now here's where it gets crazy. Most people have no idea they're holding on to one. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your nickels? Not spent them, not tossed them in a jar. I mean looked at them. Because if you're one of the few lucky people who owns this rare 1961 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark in pristine condition, your life could change forever. Now let's break this down. The Jefferson nickel series has always been a quiet giant in American numismatics. But the 1961 D nickel holds a special place. While over 229 million were minted in Denver, the key isn't how many exist. The key is how many survived in immaculate, untouched, mint state condition. You see, to fetch top dollar, and I'm talking $948,000, your coin needs to be flawless. We're talking about full steps on the Monticello building, a clean strike, no scratches, no wear. Certified by top grading companies like PCGS or NGC, one such coin, yes, only one, shocked collectors when it was evaluated at nearly $1 million in a private sale. Why? Because it was a perfect storm, flawless preservation, ultra-rare strike, and demand from elite collectors willing to outbid each other to own a piece of American history. Now, you might be thinking, why would anyone pay that much for a nickel? Let me flip that on you. Why would anyone ignore $1 million in their junk drawer? Quick question, do you know what's more valuable than a rare coin? A rare coin you never checked. That's like having a winning lottery ticket you used as a bookmark in an old cookbook. Don't be that person. Let's get back on track. If you're still watching, you already feel it. That fire in your gut, the curiosity, the possibility. You don't have to be a coin collector. You don't need a magnifying glass or a degree in numismatics. All you need is awareness and the courage to take action. Go grab your coin jar. Check those old rolls of nickels. Look for 1961 with the D mint mark. And most importantly, examine those steps on the Monticello. If they're full and sharp, you may be holding a life-changing treasure. And here's the kicker, the clock is ticking. As more people learn the truth, fewer of these coins remain unclaimed. Once they're all in collectors' hands, the window closes forever. This isn't just a hobby, this is an opportunity. A chance to turn what most people ignore into generational wealth. Still think coins are just coins? Then let me leave you with this final thought. One man recently paid nearly $1 million for a Jefferson nickel most people would toss aside. Without a second glance, what's stopping you from being the next person to cash in? Don't wait, start searching. Your future might just be hiding in the simplest place imaginable, inside a 5-cent coin. If you found this story eye-opening, subscribe for more unbelievable truths about rare coins hiding in plain sight. Like, share, and stay tuned, because the next coin we uncover could be worth even more. Your $1 million moment could be one video away. Right now, there's a 1973D Jefferson nickel circulating in the coin collector market with an estimated value of $945,000. Yes, you heard that right. Almost $1 million for a coin most people overlook every single day. Before you start dumping your spare change all over the floor, stay with me. Because what you're about to learn could change the way you look at money forever. Let's rewind. The year is 1973. Gas is cheap, disco is rising, and millions of Jefferson nickels are being minted in Denver. Most of them are just regular coins. Nothing special, nothing extraordinary. But a very small number, perhaps only one or two, came out of the mint with a flaw, and not just any flaw. A stunning minting error that collectors today are calling one of the most spectacular in the history of US nickels. Now here's the twist. This particular 1973D Jefferson nickel looks perfectly normal to the untrained eye. It doesn't have a wild color, it's not misshapen, and it doesn't scream, "I'm rare," when you look at it. So why is it worth nearly $1 million? The answer lies in what's called a full-step strike. Coin collectors obsess over details, and when it comes to the Jefferson nickel, the staircase at Monticello, featured on the reverse side, becomes a battleground of scrutiny. Most nickels from that year have poorly struck steps. They're blurry, incomplete, smudged, but a true full-step specimen shows every single step with razor-sharp clarity. It's rare, it's pristine, and it's gold to collectors. One 1973D nickel, certified by PCGS in Mint State 67 with full steps, sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and today its market value is estimated at $945,000. That's not pocket change. That's life-changing money. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your nickels? Let's pause for a second, because if you're suddenly thinking about raiding your junk drawer, I don't blame you. You might be sitting on a fortune. Or maybe you're asking, why didn't I keep Grandpa's coin jar? Either way, here's your moment, because what comes next is even more critical: how to identify a real $1 million nickel and avoid falling for counterfeits. First, let's talk condition. The 1973D Jefferson nickel you're looking for must be in mint state condition. That means no scratches, no wear, no fingerprints, no dents. It has to look like it was struck yesterday. Next, the full steps. Flip the coin over. Look closely at Monticello, the building on the back. You're hunting for 5 to 6 full steps under the columns. These steps should be clear, separated, and unbroken from left to right. You may need a magnifying glass or even a jeweler's loupe, but those tiny details are worth hundreds of thousands. And finally, certification. Do not sell your coin raw, ever. Get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC, a verified grade. Of MS66 or higher, especially with the full steps designation, is the key to serious money. Without certification, you're just holding metal. But with it, you're holding potential freedom. Now, here's where it gets intense. There are rumors in the coin community that a second ungraded 1973D full steps nickel might still be out there, hiding in a coffee can, sitting inside an old vending machine collection, or buried in a forgotten drawer. What if it's in your house? What if you're one of the very few people in America who unknowingly holds a piece of history and a ticket to wealth, and you don't even know it? Are you going to ignore that possibility, or are you going to check your coins tonight? Let me leave you with this. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary often comes down to one thing: awareness. Right now, the average person is walking past nickels worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. They don't look, they don't check, they don't ask questions, and as a result, they miss their moment. But you're not average. You're here because you believe there's more waiting for you. You want to live smarter, wealthier, freer. So here's your mission. Go check your nickels, look for the 1973 date, find that D mint mark, examine the steps, And if you think you found something rare, get it graded. Don't hesitate, because the world doesn't wait for the uncertain. It rewards the bold. And maybe, just maybe, your old nickel is your new beginning. What if I told you that a small coin sitting unnoticed in your kitchen drawer could pay off your mortgage, fund your retirement, and still leave you with enough to buy your dream home in cash? Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what's happening with one very specific coin, the 1984 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. This isn't a fairy tale, it's real. One of these nickels recently made headlines when it was valued at over $943,000. That's right, almost $1 million for a 5-cent coin. The crazy part, you might have one right now in your change jar. Now, before you run to dump out every coin you've ever saved, let's dive deeper, because not all 1984 nickels are worth that much. But the ones that are share a hidden story that could change your life. Let's rewind the clock. It's 1984. Ronald Reagan is president. Gas costs just over $1 a gallon, and at the Philadelphia Mint, millions of Jefferson nickels are rolling off the presses. But among those millions, a handful are struck with an error so rare, so precise, that coin collectors today are practically salivating to get their hands on them. So what makes this coin so valuable? Let's break it down. First, you need to know the basics. The 1984 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint is easy to spot. Look right under the year. If you see the letter P, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. Simple, but here's where things get interesting. Most 1984 nickels are worth, well, about 5 cents, maybe a little more if they're in perfect condition. But the ultra-rare ones, the ones bringing in 6-figure price tags, are different. Some have a full steps designation on the reverse, referring to the steps of Monticello. This means the strike was so sharp and precise that every step is clearly visible. No wear, no blur. Combine that with a flawless surface, a high grade from a respected grading company like PCGS or NGC, and possibly a dramatic minting error. And you've got gold. Well, nickel. But you get the point. Now here's the kicker. One of these rare 1984 P Jefferson nickels in pristine condition sold for $943,000 at auction. That wasn't a fluke. That was demand meeting rarity in a perfect storm of opportunity. Let that sink in. A coin you can barely feel in your palm. Almost $1 million. Now you might be thinking, hold on, I've got a bunch of nickels in my car cup holder. Should I quit my job? Not yet. But maybe don't skip the coin counter just yet either. Jefferson is probably smiling in Monticello right now, knowing his face is helping Americans become millionaires. Who knew the founding father was also into financial freedom? So how do you know if you've hit the jackpot? Here's what to look for. First, condition matters more than anything. Collectors are obsessed with mint state coins, especially those graded MS66 or higher. This means your nickel looks like it just left the mint. No scratches, no discoloration, no handling damage. Next, the full steps designation. Flip the coin over and look closely at Monticello's steps. If all 5 or 6 steps are clearly defined and separated, that's a strong sign of a high-quality strike. Finally, look for errors or anomalies. These could be off-center strikes, double dies, or plancher issues. The rarest 1984 Jefferson nickels often have a story written in. Their imperfections, still unsure? Have it professionally graded. PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin. And if you're sitting on a 6-figure nickel, believe me, they'll tell you. Now let's talk about turning that coin into cash. If your nickel checks all the boxes, condition, rarity, error, and full steps, it's time to contact an auction house or a serious numismatic dealer. This isn't something you toss up on eBay for $10. We're talking about real collectors who are willing to pay top dollar, sometimes hundreds of thousands, just to own a piece of rare American history. Imagine this. You walk into your bank with a 5-cent coin, and a few weeks later, you walk out with nearly $1 million wired to your account. That's not just luck. That's being informed. That's being prepared. That's taking action. Because here's the truth. Coins like this don't stay hidden forever. Someone finds them. Someone gets the payday. The only question is, will it be you? And here's the most powerful part. The 1984 Jefferson nickel isn't the only coin like this. There are dozens more, pennies, quarters, dimes, hiding in plain sight. So if you think this is the only life-changing coin out there, think again. In the next video, I'll show you a coin even more common than the 1984 nickel that's selling for over $1 million right now. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and check your coin jars tonight, because the opportunity of a lifetime might be waiting for you. In 5 cents. You don't need a lottery ticket. You don't need to invest in stocks or crypto. You just need to open your eyes, pay attention to the details, and know what to look for. This is your moment. Your wealth might already be in your hands. It's time to turn your pocket change into legacy money. Stay sharp, stay curious, and keep chasing value. Your future just might be one coin away. One coin, a simple nickel, from 1985. What if I told you that a single 1985 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark has been valued at up to $940,000 in the current market? Yes, a coin worth 5 cents is now worth nearly $1 million. Most people will never know they had it. Some may have already spent it unknowingly at a gas station or slipped it into a vending machine. This is not a story about collecting coins. This is a wake-up call, because right now, someone out there is holding this fortune, and they don't even realize it. So stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, what makes this coin so valuable, and how to find out if you're sitting on a hidden treasure. But first, let's go back to where it all began. The year was 1985. Ronald Reagan was president. The Cold War still cast a long shadow, and gas was just over $1 a gallon. At the Philadelphia Mint, millions of Jefferson nickels were struck, including one with a microscopic flaw that would become worth hundreds of thousands today. Now, you might be wondering, what on earth could make a basic 5-cent coin worth nearly $1 million? Here's the truth. The value comes from a perfect storm of rarity, error, and condition. This specific 1985 Jefferson nickel bears a P mint mark, showing it was minted in Philadelphia. But what makes the rare $1 million versions so special is something even experts nearly missed at first. A double die error and an unusual, sharply struck finish that almost looks proof-like. This isn't your average circulation coin. This is the result of a minting anomaly, a small batch struck with extreme precision and then quietly released into everyday circulation. Let me put it like this. Imagine a typo in a best-selling novel, but only 10 copies were printed before. The mistake was fixed. Those few copies become priceless. That's what we're dealing with here, but that's not the only factor. To reach that $940,000 valuation, the coin must also be in mint state condition, often graded MS-68 or higher. That's coin grading language for nearly perfect. No scratches, no wear, crisp edges, and flawless luster. Here's the kicker. Many of these coins were never set aside. They were used like every other nickel, tossed into jars, slid across countertops, forgotten in couch cushions, which means the rare survivors are very few, and that's why they're worth a fortune. Now wait a second. Before you run off to dig through your couch cushions like a treasure hunter in sneakers, slow down. We're not done yet. Because just knowing this coin exists isn't enough. You need to know exactly how to spot one and how to sell it the right way. That's where things get serious. Go find every 1985 Jefferson nickel you can get your hands on. Check the date. Look for the P mint mark. It should be just to the right of Jefferson's bust. Next, examine it under a magnifier or with your phone's zoom. Look closely for doubling. on the letters, numbers, or the profile. If you see anything unusual, do not clean the coin. That can ruin its value instantly. Instead, store it safely. Then reach out to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Get it evaluated. Get it graded. If you have a near-perfect specimen, you're no longer holding 5 cents. You're holding a gateway to financial freedom. This coin is real. The value is real. In fact, one 1985p Jefferson nickel was recently auctioned for close to $940,000, and collectors are actively searching for more. And here's something else that should shake you. The person who sold that coin was not a professional collector. They were just like you. They found it by chance, but they took action. So here's the question. Will you check your change drawer, your coin jars, your grandfather's old collection, or will you let this once-in-a-lifetime chance pass you by and let someone else cash in? Closing cliffhanger. Urge to act now. Somewhere in America, another 1985p nickel with that rare double-die error is waiting to be discovered, and maybe, just maybe, it's already in your pocket. Will you be the next person to turn 5 cents into $940,000? Only one way to find out. Check your coins. Act now. And don't forget, the next millionaire coin might be in your hand. Well, brace yourself, because a 1987 Jefferson nickel with a tiny P mint mark just rocked the coin world. Its current market value? A staggering $937,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth less than a cup of gas station coffee could now fund a luxury lifestyle. But here's the catch. Most people have no idea what to look for. And if you're not paying attention, you could be handing over a small fortune in change without ever knowing it. In this video, we'll uncover why this particular nickel is so valuable, the silent mistake that made it rare, how to identify the million-dollar version, and most importantly, how you can find one yourself, because your financial freedom might just be hiding in your pocket change. Stay with me. You don't want to miss this. Let's rewind to 1987. Ronald Reagan was president, the economy was booming, and the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was producing hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels. So what makes the 1987 P Mint mark nickel so different? It's all about a rare mint error that happened quietly, behind closed doors. A small batch of these nickels left the mint with a striking flaw, an ultra-sharp strike on an experimental planchet, or a misalignment during minting that left exceptional detailing on Jefferson's portrait. In rare cases, these errors include full steps on Monticello, something collectors go crazy for. Now let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you looked closely at a nickel? Exactly. Most people never do. But this one simple habit, checking your change, has already made a few lucky Americans hundreds of thousands richer. One coin, discovered in pristine condition and verified by a top grading company, sold privately for $937,000. And yes, it was once sitting quietly in a coffee can. Let that sink in. By the way, if you're thinking, there's no way I'd ever be lucky enough to find one of these, consider this. Someone once threw away a 1943 copper penny because they thought it was fake. That same coin later sold for over $1 million. Morale of the story? The trash can is not a retirement plan. Back to the nickel. So how do you identify the jackpot version? Look for these features. The P mint mark just above Monticello's. A dome on the right side of the coin, full steps at the base of Monticello, clearly struck and unbroken, a smooth, uncirculated surface with sharp details on Jefferson's hair and face, a weight of exactly 5 grams, indicating no metal loss or damage. And if you find one that looks promising, send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. That small investment could be your ticket to a life-changing payday. Now, here's where it gets even more exciting. Many, of these nickels are still out there, sitting quietly in old coin collections, junk drawers, or inherited boxes from relatives who had no idea what they owned. Every day, more are being discovered. But every day, more are also disappearing, spent, rolled into bank bags, or lost forever. That's the urgency. You have a narrow window to check your collection before it's too late. Let me ask you something personal. What would you do with nearly $1 million? Would you retire early, pay off every last debt, take your family on a dream vacation, invest in real estate, help your children or grandchildren? This isn't just about a coin, it's about financial independence. And all it takes is knowledge, action, and a little luck. The Jefferson nickel has long been overlooked. It's not flashy. It doesn't shine like silver or gold. But in the world of numismatics, the quiet ones often carry the loudest value. If you have a collection of coins, especially nickels from the 1980s, pull them out. Examine them carefully. Because that 1987 P. Jefferson nickel could be your secret key to wealth. Don't wait. Start today. The longer you delay, the slimmer your chances become. And just when you thought that was the rarest nickel out there, wait until you hear about the 2005 Buffalo nickel era that's making collectors sweat. That coin, even more mysterious, and possibly even more valuable. Now I know what you're thinking. A nickel? Worth $931,000. Sounds unbelievable. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why this coin is so valuable, but you'll know how to spot one, what to look for, and how you can potentially cash in on a life-changing discovery sitting right in your home. Before you toss out that coffee can of coins or let them sit untouched in a drawer, consider this. What if you're holding a forgotten treasure that could pay off your house, erase your debts, or fund the lifestyle you've always dreamed of? Let's dive in. The 1992 Jefferson nickel is part of a series that seems ordinary until you know the secret. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries the tiny letter P just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. Most nickels from that year are only worth face value, but there's a rare variety that collectors and investors are chasing relentlessly. So what makes this specific 1992 nickel worth up to $931,000? It comes down to a stunning mint era combined with historical rarity. In the world of numismatics, the study of coins, value comes from three powerful ingredients: rarity, condition, and demand. This nickel checks all three boxes, and then, first, let's talk about rarity. In rare cases, the 1992 nickel with the P mint mark shows signs of a misaligned die, a striking error where Jefferson's image or the inscriptions are slightly off-center. But even more fascinating, some of these nickels were struck on the wrong planche. Imagine a Jefferson nickel accidentally stamped on a blank meant for a dime or even a foreign coin. These are virtually 1 in a million, and collectors are fighting to get their hands on them. Now here's where it gets exciting. One of these 1992 P. Jefferson nickels in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded MS-68 by a professional service, was recently valued at a jaw-dropping $931,000. That's not a typo. That's a nickel that could buy you a home in cash, or a luxury car collection, or fund an early retirement. Let's take a quick breath, because yes, we are talking about a nickel. And no, this isn't a dream, it's a reality for the lucky. Few who take coin collecting seriously, or even those who get lucky flipping through Grandpa's old coin stash. Have you checked yours yet? No, might want to pause this video and grab that old jar. Don't worry, I'll wait. Just kidding. Let's keep going. You find one, you hold it up to the light, compare it to the pictures online, and realize you might be staring at a 6-figure coin. Your heart races. Doubt creeps in. Could it really be? This is where fear and excitement collide, because the truth is, if you don't look, you'll never know. And someone else, maybe a neighbor, maybe a distant cousin, will cash in on what could have been yours. That's the urgency. Time is not on your side. As more people become aware of rare nickels like the 1992p, the chances of undiscovered coins still in circulation plummet. Every year, more of these nickels are pulled from the wild, graded and locked away in private collections, forever out of reach. It's like hunting for treasure, except the map is in your house and the treasure is mixed in with your spare change. And here's a twist that might blow your mind. Some experts believe there are still uncirculated 1992p nickels, with this rare error sitting in storage units, attic boxes, and inherited coin books just waiting to be found. So let me ask, how many nickels have you thrown into a Coinstar machine without a second glance? First, examine the date and mint mark. You need a 1992 nickel with a clear P on the right side of Jefferson's profile. Then, check for errors, misalignment, doubling of letters, off-metal strikes, or anything unusual in the texture or edges of the coin. Use a magnifying glass or a coin loop. If something feels off, don't ignore it. You might be holding a sleeper coin. Next, consider grading. If the coin is in excellent condition, without scratches, wear, or discoloration, it could be worth sending to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade, rare error coin from this year could catapult your find into 6 or even 7 figures. Finally, network. Join online coin forums, speak to reputable dealers, and compare your coin to high-resolution images of known valuable 1992p nickels. Knowledge is money in this world, literally. Let me leave you with this. Every rare coin collector who struck gold started exactly where you are, uncertain, curious, and skeptical. But they looked closer, they took the time, and they were rewarded. So now, the big question, do you have a 1992 Jefferson nickel that could change your life? The only way to know is to check. Don't wait until it's too late, because while you're sitting on it, someone else might be cashing in. Yes, you heard that right. Now, before you empty your pockets or rush to your coin jar, listen closely, because this isn't just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for and why this particular coin is shaking up the collector world like never before. And no, this is not a drill. This is your chance to discover if you're sitting on a life-changing treasure without even knowing it. Let's rewind. The year is 1999. The world is buzzing with the Y2K scare. People are stocking up canned food, and the US Mint is producing billions of coins to meet demand. In that chaotic time, a small batch of Jefferson nickels struck at the Denver Mint, slipped through with a minting error so rare, even seasoned collectors overlooked it. These coins feature a subtle misstrike and an unusual die alignment, making them unlike the rest. They look like normal nickels at first glance, but don't be fooled. Their secret lies in the precision of the minting process, or in this case, the lack of it. This minting mistake, combined with the limited number that survived circulation, has created a perfect storm. Today, one of these coins has already fetched close to $1 million in a private sale. Yes, someone traded a 5-cent piece for more than most people earn in a lifetime. So what exactly should you be looking for? First, flip the coin. Look at the Monticello building on the reverse side. Is the strike slightly off-center? Is the demint mark unusually shaped or misaligned? Does Jefferson's bust seem oddly positioned or doubled? These aren't flaws, they are signatures of value. And here's the kicker, the average person wouldn't even notice. That's why most of these valuable nickels are still out there, buried in drawers, hiding in change jars, waiting for someone like you to discover them. Let's pause for a second. I know what you're thinking. Why would anyone pay nearly $1 million for a nickel? Well, let me ask you this. Why do people pay millions for paintings that look like someone spilled soup on a canvas? Because rarity is value. And in the world of coin collecting, the rarest pieces become priceless. This isn't just about collecting, it's about opportunity. It's about a once-in-a-lifetime chance to turn forgotten change into financial freedom. Now imagine this. You're Sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through old coins passed down from a parent or grandparent, you find a 1999 nickel with a D mint mark. You check the details. Your heart skips a beat. Could it be? You get it appraised, verified, authentic. One of the rare few. Bidders start calling, offers pour in. Within weeks, you're holding a check for hundreds of thousands of dollars, all from a coin that had been sitting in silence for decades. This is not just a fantasy, it's already happened. And it could happen again, maybe to you. But here's the urgent part. As more of these nickels are discovered and enter the collector market, the rarity drops, and with it, the value. Time is not on your side. The window to strike is closing fast. So here's what you need to do. After this video, go check your coin collection. Look through your jars, your drawers, your old boxes. Pay attention to every 1999 nickel with a D mint mark. Inspect it carefully. If you even suspect it might be one of the rare ones, get it evaluated. Don't let doubt or procrastination cost you a fortune. Because here's the truth. The wealth you're chasing might not be in some distant dream or risky investment. It might already be in your house, hiding in plain sight. And remember this, success favors the informed. Millionaires aren't made from luck. They're made from knowledge, timing, and action. So ask yourself, how much is your nickel really worth? Stay tuned, because in our next video, we're diving into another everyday coin that's quietly changing lives. And this one is even more surprising. You don't want to miss it. Subscribe if you want to stay one step ahead. Your next $1 million find could be just one coin away. This is Rare Coins World, where knowledge is wealth, and wealth could be in your hands right now. Keep collecting, keep believing, and don't ever underestimate the power of small things, because sometimes 5 cents is all it takes to change your life.